blessed be beautiful soul. My name's Samantha if you've never met me before, and this is my second channel. My main is Samantha Solaris. So this is all about my garden, and I wanted to show you today a little tour of my winter garden. It is my favorite weather. Winter, windy, but sunny. It's so lovely, and you're gonna have to just excuse the loud wind noise, but I wanted to share with you what my winter garden looks like. Oh, and Bear's with me too at the moment. I have indoor cats, so when they come outside they freak out. So he's joining us on our tour. I want to start by showing you the reason why I actually wanted to film this video, and that is my Dutch irises have just come into bloom literally this morning. So I have one here and then one which is just starting to open up, so by this afternoon it will be up as well. Bear decided to join as well, but I've never ever grown irises, so it may seem, I don't know, normal to some people, but this is very exciting for me because I've never ever had irises before. So I guess we should start in this garden. These are my salvia, so every year I cut it right back to the very like stump here, and it reshoots like magic. I have a grevillea here. I can't remember what this one was called, the shade, but some more flowers. So after it flowers, you sort of cut it back to about here, but I gave this baby a really hard prune not that long ago, so you can see all this like gorgeous, you know, new greenery. But the rest of this garden is exciting because I have foxgloves and goras, lots of things that are going to just be blooming like crazy in the springtime. So there's stocks up the back, a little nasturtium, and lots of weeds, as you can see. Excuse me, Bear. Stop! I'm trying to show everyone the garden, you silly goose. Now, something that's very exciting that's been happening lately is I've just got my very first paper daisies coming through, so I cannot wait to share that with you as they're fully in bloom, because I've got many plants all throughout my garden that very soon are going to be blooming. And this big one here, there's two of them obviously, they're Mexican marigolds, and I actually cut them back to the point where there was not a single leaf. They were just all sticky stump, and this is how big it has regrown. So I like to say that I need to humble her. And I already know I have to like sort of trim here because it's getting too big and overtaking the garden again. And the magic of plants and persevering with your garden is that you get, you can sort of see right there, that is little babies that have come from seed from this throughout the last couple of years. So it's literally growing everywhere. I'm going to have to take them out and put them in pots. So that's the magic of the garden, is a lot of it self seeds as well. So we started over there. Now we are heading over to the front of my studio, and right here we have all of my Icelandic poppies. Now it's really windy, and unfortunately some of them have sort of snapped or bent over because we don't often get this much wind, but they are so beautiful, the blooms. They only last for a few days, but I keep them for my spirit dolls as well. And you can see here I have foxgloves all through this garden. Look at this big one here. So very soon there's going to be beautiful foxglove spikes, and I really need to do a little bit more. Obviously there's weeds everywhere. That's the common denominator through all my gardens at the moment, but I do have one of my favorite pansies, but the nasturtium has taken over. So unfortunately this baby is going to have to get repotted because it is huge and taking over the garden. This is one nasturtium plant and it just went mental. Look at this little boy. Hey buddy. Hello. Say hello to everyone on YouTube, huh? You're right. Once you come from there, here I have the part of my studio where I sit right there and do my spirit work. So I look out at this garden, and as you can see, she is overrun by nasturtium. I've said it before in a video on my main channel that this whole garden filled with the nasturtium came from one plant right here. A couple of years ago, I had one nasturtium, and because you can sort of see here, after they flower, they seed, these dry up, and a year later, every single seed, and as you can see, there's lots of flowers, every single seed turns into a plant. So I had hundreds of little seedlings I had to repot, take out. Like you can even see there, see all the seeds? So they'll all drop and create more nasturtiums next year. The only reason that I'm letting them sort of stay in this garden is because of the bees. I really had to weed and get rid of a lot of old plants because I'd sort of let my garden go so much. And the bee food, all the pollen went because I had no more flowers. So I'm just happy to keep them here to allow the bees to soak up as much nectar as they need to. But there are also foxglove, stocks, my really big mamagora. So this is a beautiful plant that gets lots of wispy tendrils. What is so crazy is that they are littered now all throughout my lawn. So from, again, this one plant, I now have babies everywhere. You can see them here. They're growing all the way along. And then look at this, all throughout my lawn, those little purple spots. They are agora plants that have seeded from my gardens. Look at them all. So again, I'm going to have to go and dig these up and put them in pots so I can save them. I have to save a lizard because Bear wants to eat it. Come on, buddy. We're not eating lizards today. No, no, no. So that brings us over to the front bit of my garden. I have my yarrow. And again, the self-seeding, it's so awesome. There's another little yarrow plant here. And last year I had calendula here, and this has come up from the seeds. So very exciting to see that you can get, you know, generations of plants just from having one plant in the ground. Here is a Flanders poppy, so it'll have the beautiful red with the black, the remembrance poppy for Anzac Day. And I have a blueberry plant that was not really loving life where I had her, but since I've moved it, there's a heap of new growth coming through, which is really exciting. Now to show you my main garden here. So you guys would have seen on my main channel, I had a cauldron, like fire pit here, and I moved it and changed it into a garden bed because I wanted to look out of my window and see flowers, a sea of flowers, if you will. And so I've picked mainly cottage plants and things that are pollinating and will be bee and butterfly food. I'm obviously not going to go into every single flower and plant that is here because I kind of repeat foxglove stocks. But one of the newbies that has just started flowering is my cornflower. So this is the first one, very exciting. And the snapdragons are also giant snapdragons, so there's one there. So these are all going to add height to the garden, so it's not all just like really small. It's just that it's still winter, and once spring comes along, it's going to burst into color. And that brings us to the big garden. And the first thing I want to show you, please don't mind the weeds. I had a poinsettia problem and there's lots of little seeds everywhere, but my lily of the valley. So exciting that this is here. Makes my heart so happy. The little fairy bells. You can see it's so tiny at the moment, but the thing is, this section gets shade all year round, this like section of my fence. And so I wanted to have plants that are flowering but also love the shade. So I thought lily of the valley would be perfect because it kind of clumps and it can like take over this little corner of the yard, which is really exciting. I went a bit crazy and cut back. This was my Geraldton wax, and I had a bit of a spat attack at it and cut off all the limbs. It poked me in the eye, but it is reshooting, so there's lots of signs of life coming through. And I've got my little wards, and I do plan on having kind of the whole tree covered in dangling crystals and charms, because it does block off and is the threshold into the back of our house. So I want to make sure we're keeping that intention, that it's nice and safe. Now this nasturtium is running a bit of a leg here, so she's thriving. But I have heliotropes, more goras, look at the bright petunia here. And I'm very excited because my stalks are actually just starting. You can see the little flowers right there. And it's such a like nostalgic plant for me. So off the back here, you can see I have my big medicinal rosemary bush. I feel like it's a big protector and guardian because it's near the fence. Then I have the lavenders, and they're starting to flower, which is so exciting. They're like the most beautiful lavenders. And my rose bushes, so they're not in flower just yet. I just cut off a couple of really big flowers. Oh, actually there's one little bud right there. They are the most exquisite smelling flowers. I love picking really fragrant types of roses. Some more nasturtiums down here, snapdragons, pansies, and right there I have borage growing, which I grew from seed, which is really exciting. And I do have so much weeding to do, but there is a little datura. And like I showed you guys before, I have the paper daisies coming through. So very exciting seeing their beautiful little faces in my garden. Snow peas have gone crazy. There is so many of them all throughout here, but the bloody poor things, this wind is just not being their friend. We actually came out this morning and it was fully flat, so hopefully they will keep keeping on. I actually have to extend it because they're getting so tall. Last thing I want to show you is my elder tree. So she's very slowly getting bigger, and I cannot wait for her to take up this entire section of the front of my house. So I feel really protected having the elder hold space for us in our front yard. Also, I want to be able to harvest the elderflowers and the elderberries. So let's go inside. Always decide to join me whenever I turn on my camera. Thank you so much for watching. And Garden Solaris, like this channel, what I am wanting to film here is literally just a little slice of my garden with you, I guess. And I hope that these videos are just like a peaceful moment. I really love turning on videos that are just like calming, and that's what I hope that, you know, this channel can be, just sharing my love of plants and gardening. And maybe that might inspire you to garden, or you might have similar plants to me. I don't know, I just hope that this space is really like soothing for you. And yeah, I can't wait. Oh, and also I was going to say, I really wanted to share here quite authentically and not edit like crazy. It's really cool just to literally be able to like turn on my camera. And I mean, this video obviously I had heaps, but I just want to be able to turn on my camera and be like, here are my foxgloves, like here are they're in bloom, here you go, have a look at them. You know, I don't want to have to like always do really big edited YouTube videos. It's really cool to just like be able to film like a 2-minute video on a certain flower and upload it, because gardening is just, I don't know, there's something about gardening that's so therapeutic. It connects us to the earth. I think that in a sense, gardening is spirituality, because it is like our ancient ancestors' connection to food, to the natural world. Like gardening is in our DNA, it's in our lifeblood. And so I kind of feel like it's like my therapy, it's like my spirituality, it's everything to me. So to have a dedicated place for that is like really, really beautiful as well. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, leave a comment if you'd love. I'd love to hear what your favorite flowers were or what you've got in your garden. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Hold on, I'll show you how cute Meowsy is. Mimi. All right, see you in the next video.